think it's a bit of a shame in some ways that the word belief is considered off limits for scientists. I know some scientists do use it, but it's not usually used. If people rather than say I believe something in science, you tend to say I accept something. So you wouldn't say I believe the Darwinian model of evolution. You would say I accept the Darwinian model of evolution. And I think it's a bit of a shame, really, because belief is such a powerful idea. And I think by science not acknowledging it and using it, it kind of hands it over to the side, really. Belief becomes associated with religion and different and non-scientific certain sorts of cognition which are non-scientific, certain sorts of understanding which are non-scientific. And I think the reason for that is, and here I'm borrowing from Robert Burton's book, what's it called? Something about certainty. Can't remember the exact title, but what he's saying there is that when we know something, and by know, he kind of means believe to be true. You know, if you're certain about something, then you believe that thing to be true. He says it's got two components. One of which is the kind of rational knowledge of it, that of a truism, and then there's the felt sense of that truism. So you'd feel a very strong commitment to it. You'd feel like a very strong. Well, if it was taken away, it'd feel odd. So I believe there is a tree. I'm looking at the other side of this car park where I'm parked here, and I believe that the tree is there. I believe that the proposition that the tree is there to be true. And it's not just there's some kind of cold, sterile cognitive computation going on there. It's part of my reality that I'm fully engaged in the certainty of that truism, which means I believe it. And so belief has that quality of a felt commitment, a felt sense of the truth of something, not the rational, slightly distanced, slightly more objective, but obviously more evidential proofs of the truth of something. When we believe something to be true, drawing on this felt sense, it's much more convincing than just kind of accepting a proposition. I mean, in a sense, to a great extent, that's science's strength. That you don't have to accept a proposition in this felt way, because it can lie. It can make mistakes. It is perfectly possible to get the felt sense of something being true when it's just not true. So it is always, from a scientific point of view, useful to be wary of that. And so for that reason, I think there's good justification for why science would not embrace that feeling. I mean, some scientists do, but they do it on the side. Murray Gell-Mann talks about beauty, and Albert Einstein talked about the beauty of equations. And he's making appeals to an aesthetic felt sense when he says that. But it's completely supported by it. These people only use it when it's supported by the evidence. So it's an accompaniment to the rational, more calculating, evidence-based understanding of truth. But as I say, it's a bit of a shame, because I think a lot of scientific theories are as believable in that kind of emotional felt sense as my perception of this tree. I mean, it's the evidence for Darwinian evolution, for example, classic case, is so strong that of course I believe it. I mean, it's foolish. It would be foolish of me to not believe it. And it wouldn't just be foolish, but it would be pretty foolish of me not to feel that it was true. If I was walking through life now pretending that I didn't feel the truth of it, I would be delusional, I think. Although I know in the past and contemporaneously right now, there are people who walk through life with a very strong felt sense that Darwinian evolution is not true, and that creation myths are true in the felt sense. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is really. I suppose all I'm saying is that I think it would be nice if some scientists relaxed their refusal to use the B word and say they did believe things, if they did believe them, obviously I'm not asking them to lie, but if they did have the felt sense that accompanies the kind of visceral embodiment of knowledge and the incorporation of that knowledge into the kind of in the fibre of your being, which is what it's like when you feel something to be true. I think scientists should come out and say they believe that, or else there should be two different words for it. If I find it very irritating that Francis Collins, for example, uses the word belief to mean both his religious belief, and I've heard him use it about his commitment to certain scientific propositions, including evolution, and that's a bit irritating, because whatever the status of those two propositions are in Francis Collins's mind, and I've no reason to believe that they don't have equal status or whatever, they don't have equal status in the world. One is an evidence-based proposition, the other is a different kind of proposition. And to say that you believe in them both suggests that they have a similar kind of status, and they simply don't. I'm not making value judgments at this point, although I think there are value judgments to be made. But I think certainly, I think I've confused myself here, but I think either people shouldn't use the word belief for both, in this case, religious belief and scientific belief, or, failing that, I don't think scientists should resist using the word belief, otherwise you're giving all the emotional ammunition to the enemy, in effect.